All right, folks, it's that time again. You're about to meet the incredible Hannah Smith, co founder and director of agent training of the Property Geeks located in the Twin Cities. That's right, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And she's going to be with us right here next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. Yeah, we're bringing the double guarantee today, aren't we, man?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, good to see you, C3. How you been? All right?
Been good.
Yeah?
Been good, yeah.
Any good news?
Great news. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota is up, playing the Stars. And so it's tied 1-1 right now. And we have a guest from Minnesota, so we'll see what her take is on that.
Timed this perfectly, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right in the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's bring the
her
lovely
on.
Hannah Smith on. Hi, Hannah. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
We are bumping up against fantastic. It's
Yeah.
great to see you. It's been a while, and man, it sure is nice. I know you've been up to a lot of great things here, and we're going to dive into some of the with the market change and stuff. Some of the things that are going on up there in your neck of the woods. But I just got to tell you, you are a real estate superstar. We were talking a little bit before the show here, and your best year so far was closing right at what, 51 deals in 1 year?
Yeah, it's a busy year.
Yeah, you got to breathe a little bit. That's a lot of work, and so it's just really you and of course your lovely daughter who's doing traveling soccer these days. She's 8, but it's just the two of you. How do you manage to get that much business done in a year?
I think it's just being very efficient with your time and honing down on just like what you're good at. And I have a team, and so I have like a showing agent that helps out with certain showings and things like that. So that kind of helps with time management. But I think it's really of just like being efficient and then really liking what you do.
Right.
Because you can get really exhausted, but you still like it. So it's just like it's more fuel than just getting super burnt out. So I think it's just a combination of enjoying everything you do and just finding ways to be completely efficient. And then it just kind of keeps rolling.
Just keeps rolling. When you love what you do, they don't even call it work anymore, right? I've heard
Right.
something like that. Yeah. And so the Property Geeks, tell us a little history about the team that you co-founded.
Oh man, yeah. So we started it about 6, almost 7 years ago. It was me, Karin Pancook, and Sarah Ruland, and we just wanted to create a different type of culture than we saw in a lot of other teams and just offices. And we had this idea. It's like, hey, if we took all of our money and put it into like a pot, we could get so much more, resources and things for all of our businesses than trying to do it all alone on our own. And so that kind of collective feel is where we were going with it. And we finally were like, screw it, let's do it. Let's start a team. And so that's how like the Property Geeks were born. Now we're all licensed agents, and Sarah's rocking and rolling too. And we have like 30 agents on our team total. So it's been fun to watch it grow.
Wow, 30 agents. That is amazing. So when you come together in a group like that, what kind of synergies do you find? Is it easier? Do people learn faster? Is it easier to train? What are some of the advantages of getting people concentrated, collaborating in a group like the Property Geeks?
I think it's awesome because everyone that's joined our team, even brand new agents, we always hone down on like what their skill set already is. And that can one serve them in their business, but can also serve the rest of the team. So we have agents coming from all sorts of career paths in the past. We have some that are coming from other brokerages that have a certain way of doing business, and we all kind of come together and just share. And I think that's a big part of our our vibe is that no one is like, oh, you can't see what I'm doing over here because you might steal it, or like you might affect my business. Everyone's just super open book and sharing what they have to share, and it all just kind of gets wrapped into one. So it's pretty awesome. Everyone has different specialties too. So someone will say, hey, I have a new construction buyer and I've never done a new construction deal. All of our team members are all like, hey, I've done new construction. Let me sit down with you and like teach you. And it's really cool to watch too when you stand back and kind of watch it happen amongst the agents. At the office, it's like, yay, go you. It's really exciting. So I don't know, everyone just kind of brings what they bring and wants to contribute to everybody.
Well, you guys obviously have a mindset of abundance. I mean, you
Yeah.
realize there's enough grains of sand on the beach for everybody to play with, right? So, because of this mindset and this kind of open teaching and sharing and things like that, tell us about some of your success stories with new agents. What does that look like with people who are right out of real estate school?
We've had actually a handful of agents that have come on that wanted to do what I think a lot of people want to, which is get licensed and be part time and keep their job, and then get really good at real estate and leave their job. It's easier said than done that way, right? Like we all can agree, it's really hard to be a part time agent and grow your business. And so we've brought on a few agents that have successfully been able to leave their job way before they were planning to, because they were doing so well. And I think it's the idea that we set up a system that's very collaborative, but we also have a lot of systems that we have to plug and play. So we have like a team Canva, a team Google Drive, and everything. So people that are part time can't make it to the office. They have everything and anything they need at their fingertips. And then we are very on demand as far as mentoring goes. So between Sarah, Karin, and I, we share the load. But there's lots of times where we have to help agents on the off hours and things that a lot of agents that are part time don't get from their other brokers or their other team leads. And I feel like that extra support gets them to a certain level. So we have a couple agents this last couple months that have left their full time jobs and have gone 100% into real estate, which I think is a really cool hump to get over. You know what I mean? To see that success. And even though it's small to some people, I think it's amazing.
That is the hardest way to do it. We've said many times on the show here that it's really, you really need to go full time into real estate and then get a side hustle if you still got to pay the bills. That's
Right.
part time,
Yeah.
right? Because in order to master your trade, this is a full time business. You wouldn't want to go to a dentist that is practicing part time. However, some
Right.
people, they just can't get over that fear of not having a steady paycheck every 2 weeks and going out and killing their paycheck every week instead.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I mean, and it's great that you've been able to serve that niche because there's a lot of people that want to do that. And it's hard to convince them that they just need to burn the boats and come on over. So you're the director of agent training. What does it look like? What do you guys do, say, for the first 100 days that a new agent comes on board your team?
So we have what's called the Geeks University. Everything we do is branded. But it's a Geeks University. It is a 9-week program that we have our brand new agents do. And this is like every week is based on, it could be the week of listings. And we go through an entire case study of, okay, if you get it like from the phone call of, hey, I want to list my house, to getting it actually closed. We go through that whole timeline. We give them the actual paperwork to fill out, and we have that so they have examples, for later to work on. And then every week is kind of a different subject. And then that 9th week, we call it like the graduation, and it's like a final project. So we actually go to a home, we do a showing, they have to write up the purchase agreement. We kind of have to do the whole thing. And they all work together. They get back to the office, and it's like a 4-hour. Well, if Karin's the one directing it, because we take turns doing it. If Karin's doing it, we always joke like it's gonna be 7 hours long. But usually it's about 3 to 4 hours. Karin.
Yes, yes, yeah.
She likes to talk.
She does, right? Oh, yes. But we love to listen to her talk. She's very articulate.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So you also developed another specialty. You're sort of famous in some areas, like
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think you're the only. I don't know anybody else that's gotten 2 million views on a post. Do you? I mean, maybe Grant Cardone or somebody like that.
Yeah. No,
that's a lot. You actually have a post that you made that got right at 2 million views. Will you tell us a little bit about that one?
It's kind of a goofy one. I actually, it's funny. It's always the videos that I almost don't do that end up going over really well. So it was one that I didn't even want to do. We were in the middle of going from school to practice to all the things with my daughter, and I was like, I just think it's a really fun idea. I'm just going to do it really quick. And it was just making a joke. I like to make my reels about kind of real estate life, right? Beyond talking to my clients, but I also like to relate to realtors. And it was just this idea that I had seen some video about this guy being scared in a house because he thought someone was there, so he was like, hey, I have a gun, like, don't come at me. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's how I feel when I do open houses, at like an empty house. It's always like, don't open that door, like, don't go down to the video, like, it's that weird creepy feeling.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Right?
Yes. We've all feel it, right? In real estate, where you're like, oh, it's really quiet in here. So I thought of it and I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I filmed it in a couple different areas of my own house. And my daughter's behind the camera, just like, what are you doing? Like, you're crazy. And yeah, and I posted it and it just happened to blow up and realtors really got a kick out of it.
So that's what you say, that you would call that a viral post, right?
Yeah, I mean, it had like 33,000 shares. I don't know how many likes it had, but I mean, I'd say it's somewhat viral in the real estate area.
I would say
yeah,
so. Yeah. And I think, do we by chance, I think Trelvis, he's an engineer, just like, I mean, amazing Hall of Famer. I think he's actually found it and can play it for us.
Let me make sure I still got my gun in here. My gun. My gun. Shoot, I could have sworn I had my knife in here. I could have sworn I had my knife.
And that's it. That's the post that got 2 million views. That's
it.
Crazy.
But it's the humor that she has and brings, and it's really, I mean, you're one of the funniest ones that I follow for sure. Especially that you include Honora in your videos as well. I mean, you do a really great job. I don't know if you edit those on your own.
Thank you.
Kudos to you for getting good content out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are people in the audience right out here going, how does she do this? I mean, how do you get, so can you give us your secrets? Can you tell things on this show that you haven't shared with people before about why you're so wildly successful on Instagram?
I think, honestly, the secret of social media is to stop only focusing on your content and posting. And everyone's like, I have to post once a day and I have to do this and I have to do that. It's really about using social media for the whole reason it was created in the first place, which is engaging with other people and networking. And as much as I post on Instagram, I think that where I get all the actual audience for my content is from actually engaging with people and having genuine kind of conversations and connections through socials. That's really where you start to see growth, is within that engagement. Having content that showcases your personality and, like, for me, my humor helps, because then it continues to grow and connect and find people that are like-minded. But if I was just doing that, there would be no point to it. Like, you have to be able to be engaging and actually develop real relationships on social media for it to do anything, and then it just kind of comes. And the content, people always freak out about what to post, and it's just start, and you'll start evolving into the type of content that you're supposed to be creating.
Wow. That was a sound bite.
Yeah.
Right there.
No,
That was
Clip.
Yeah. Excellent. So, I mean, you make it look so and sound so easy. When you talk about engagement, describe what engagement means to you.
I think it's communicating, right? It's actually being on the app, not just mindlessly scrolling. I have a lot of my clients on social media, for instance, and that's how I stay in contact. I mean, of course, I do all the other things, right, that every other realtor does, but I make sure that, like, I'm keeping in contact with my clients and I'm following along with their life just as much as they're following along with my business. And so I make a point to reach out to people on social. Like I am a little strategic too. Like if I was going to go text a client, I actually probably Facebook message them or Instagram message them, because that's going to then push my content in front of them instead of just being a single one-to-one text. Right. So like there are certain things that I lean on social media in order for my communications versus just my phone, because I know that's going to help them continue to be in front of my platform. And but I literally do, I use my DMs every day, right? I use my stories that is going to spark a conversation with someone else. And I don't just necessarily just like their message back. Like I genuinely want to start a conversation with you, right? I look at it kind of like social media being an actual party that you go to. And you don't want to be the one that only talks about yourself, which is like the people that only post and then never talk to anybody, right? You never want to be the person that's only ever listening to people. That's the people that are only ever consuming and not doing anything. You want to be the one that's kind of bouncing around, talking a little bit here, talking a little bit there, right? Like it's that finesse that you have, either you have or you don't have, at a party, that relates right back into social media too. So you want to have a good balance and just actually having conversation with people, and a lot of DMs and a lot of comments, and just being intentional with the time that I spend on the platforms.
So do you teach your techniques and styles to other people outside of Property Geeks? Or, I mean, do you ever do boot camps or things like that people could get a little deeper understanding of how you're so successful?
Yeah, so I've done actually a couple like speaking engagements, which was really nerve wracking for me because I'm not like a speaker, but so I have been kind of around the country. I did Girls with Grit last year. I was in Seattle earlier this year. I'm actually going back to Seattle to do a workshop for a group there next month. And then I do want to put together some sort of, whether that be a course or something for agents to plug into, because I think it's all very basic, and it's one of those abundance mindsets. Is what I teach you, you're never going to hold against me, because it's all, everybody else's social media is so different, and I'm teaching you techniques that you have to then take and then put into action with your own personality, your own brand, and that part I just can't help with, right? But I can give you all the techniques and all the strategies all day long. So I do really want to put something together for agents to be able to feel like they can just follow that and at least have that nailed down and not have to figure out themselves, kind of recreate the wheel, and then they can go and do what they want with their brand.
Okay. And so how much actual like post-production is involved here? There's the screen time where you're taking the camera,
Right.
but isn't there a lot of time involved in the editing and selecting and retaking, reshooting and things like that?
No, not for me. I mean,
That
it
was
literally, most reels take me 15, 20 minutes from start to finish. It obviously depends if there's a reel that's, I have one, it's my mom's favorite, but it's like, I have like 4 or 5 different outfits throughout the video. Right. Well, then, yeah, that takes a little extra time going and changing each time and stuff like that. But as far as like my typical reel, it really, I don't do crazy weird editing. I do all of my own things. I don't hire it out. I'm using what's within the actual Instagram platform, which actually is beneficial to the algorithms as well. Very rarely, maybe 1 or 2 videos ever, I've used like the video editing apps, but I really just do it on the app, and I've all figured it out by just clicking into a function going, oh, that's what that does. Okay. Or like Googling, like, oh, how did someone do that? And then I figured it out, right? And it really, once you get good at it, it just takes practice. It's doing the reel, knowing the first couple are not going to be good and they're going to be trash, but don't delete them. Just let them be. And then you learn a little bit each. I mean, you go back to my old reels. Oh my God, they're so bad. But I learned from them and I kept going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
super resourceful.
That was the word I was looking for right there. Resourceful. Yeah. What are your plans how does this play into your business for the next couple of years? How do you plan to use Instagram and social media to grow your real estate business now?
Well, I mean, the beauty of social media is always changing, right? So one of my plans is to not have a plan, because you don't know, social media could be gone tomorrow, right? So I do use social to grow my other parts of marketing, right? My email campaigns, my address lists, all those types of things. But if social media also changes, like reels, right? Who knew what reels were going to be like 3 years ago? Nobody. So what's next? So I kind of take my planning as an open mind of like, who knows what social media is going to bring, but I'm be open minded and not fight it like most agents do. And I'm just going to learn and be resourceful and figure it out as it goes, as it comes to me, but I think that no matter what, I've been using social media since I got licensed. So like 2014, right? And it has evolved from me being simply on Snapchat every day, posting about real estate, to, I know I was Snapchatter, to like Facebook, to then Instagram. So it's always just kind of building. And I guess like my plan is just to keep following that and follow how I can brand myself more and more in that instance, because I would have never thought 3 years ago that like, one, I'd be on a podcast talking about 2 million view reel. I wouldn't even know what a reel was, So I'm just excited to always use social media to connect with people. And that's really what I've always done. And I've always just used it to say, hey, I'm in real estate and I'm Hannah Smith. If you think me, think of real estate. If you think of real estate, think of me. And that's really the basis of how I even started on it. And I'll just keep doing it.
Got it. Well, you've used your platforms. You've been very selective. You mentioned Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. We talked earlier, TikTok's not your big thing, right? So far, it's just not really, it's not one of your focuses.
No, I am on TikTok. I don't have like a big following. I don't put a lot of effort because again, I don't do the engagement like I do on Instagram. I always say like, oh, I should probably get better into TikTok and blah, 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 blah. But I kind of honed down on what I was good at, and where my sphere was. And for a while, my sphere was all on Facebook. So I stayed mostly on Facebook. My sphere has kind of moved over to Instagram. So that's where I, kind of put my efforts into. But I do think it's important that so many agents think that they have to be on everything and they have to spread themselves thin. And you will run out of time in the day if you're trying to be on everything. So I think it's about looking at your clientele or looking at your ideal people that you want to be followed by and where are they at. Yeah. And mine just happen to be on Instagram for the most part.
How does Instagram play into lead generation for your business? Is that just one pillar? Do you do any other types of lead gen for your team as well, or is it just strictly your SOI on Instagram?
And so it's mostly, I guess for me, it's my personal business is either referral, past clients, or agent referrals. So that's a huge lead source within social media for me is realtor referrals from across the country. And I think that part's really cool because I didn't think about that when I was starting on Instagram, But I do a whole bunch, like I said, I have a whole lead gen for our team specifically. We do like the Make It Rain through KV Core. We do that stuff for them for like our newer agents that really want to like just hone down on the cold leads system. So we have all that going. For me personally, it's mostly social media, which is how I kind of nurture both new leads, but also my past clients and my referral partners and all those. And I really just put a lot of love into my people that way, as well as like the email campaigns and I do a lot of pop buys and things like that. So I would say I kind of follow a little ninja system, a little Buffini, and then a little of like social media. That's where all my leads are coming from though.
I see. So you mentioned Buffini. Have you ever had a coach? Who have you coached with in the past?
I've had coaching sessions. I don't think I've had like a set coach. I've done a lot of coaching sessions with different coaches. That is one thing though, that it's kind of on my list for the year is to lock down a coach and really get something kind of more, not permanent, but more structured than just doing these random sessions here and there. So yeah, that's on my list for the year actually.
What are you looking for specifically in your coach?
Oh, that's a really good question. What am I looking for specifically? Well, I like
right. Any of you coaches
right
out there, now's your chance.
Yeah. Yeah, here's my number. No. I like the no BSers. For sure. Like I don't need someone to like warm and fuzzies, like I need someone to be like, hey, you're not doing enough, or this is what you should be doing. And I think for me, a coach that like understands definitely like the digital marketing, right? Like that's where I've mostly gone for most of my business. So someone that would help me expand that more, and get into more avenues that I could deliver kind of better content for people, I guess.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and,
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear you say that. You know, most agents who achieve at the highest level, just like any athlete or anybody that really just is the best
Professional,
in their
right?
in
Yeah.
their market or whatever, has the help of a mentor, coach, that type of thing. So, I think that that's a great idea.
Speaking of coach, I have another question for you. I noticed that you had recently picked up working out. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I know. You're so funny about, going to the gym and you have a different take on it because you just don't like it, frankly, but you go anyways. Can you elaborate on what had you get back into the gym recently?
yeah. So I call it the stupid gym. and and it's funny because I don't know, it was just one of those things where I wanted to feel healthier, right? And I had been an athlete before, and the last, I don't know, 10 plus years I've just kind of like having baby and doing all those things, like it wasn't a priority on my list, and I started to not want to. I also, I have this weird heart thing where my heart rate shoots up, so I thought I gave myself the excuse of I don't need to work out because I shouldn't, right? That's total BS. So I just started like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. I didn't need like a January 1, or I didn't need like I'm gonna start at this time. Like I just thought, I'm just gonna start going. I have a gym membership because my boyfriend's son wanted a gym membership, as a trade off for all my landscaping work. So I thought, okay, I should probably use this membership I'm paying for anyways. So I started going, and I thought, for accountability purposes, I have a good following, and some of my people that I have followers, like they're truly like, I've never met them in person, but I, have a real connection with them. Like I'm just going to start posting about something that's not real estate, but it's about what I'm doing right now. And so like, I'm going to a stupid gym, and I just hated it because just not that person, and then you got like all the people there and you think everyone's watching you. No one's watching you, but it's just that feeling, right? And I just started posting about it. And it's so funny because I have friends and people reaching out to me and are like, oh my gosh, you're really motivating me. Like, I hate the gym too. And I hate when these like gym gurus are like, we love the gym. It's the best part of my day. Like, it's not at all. It's the worst part. So it's been cool to kind of get a little sub community of my friends that are they're like, hey, keep going, like keep posting it. It's funny to see, and it's not your normal gym posts, And there's always awkward things to happen to me. I'm like a magnet for awkwardness. So I have funny stories that come out of the gym all the time, and I don't know why, but so it's fun to share, and it's fun to share that part of my life that's just not all real estate too. And I think people appreciate that. But man, I hate the stupid gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
fun.
I know it's stupid, but what kind of benefits have you been seeing from it? Has it been better clarity for you mentally, or do you feel stronger, or?
Yeah, I started doing Pilates, which I do enjoy that more than like the normal like treadmill type of activity at the gym. And I was a dancer, so Pilates I feel like is like, you get a little flexible. So I've really enjoyed that, and you do feel this like odd strength afterwards because it's not like this intense, like you're drenched in sweat and you leave there and you can barely move, but you feel it the next day and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I had muscles right there. So it's been that nice kind of just progressive, and I'm not like doing super intense stuff, right? So I'm not going to see something overnight, just like with all of our social media marketing and all things with real estate. And I just keep telling myself that, but definitely a lot more focus. I definitely feel like the ADHD, I always call it the real estate induced ADHD, has definitely, I feel like, kind of calmed a little bit, and it gives me a little bit more priority in the day and just making time for it.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's doing good.
Yeah. So, we've had, I think the last time we saw you was, well, you were in Dallas, right? At the,
Build conference,
well, and also, yeah, you came to our deal too, right?
luxury event.
The billionaire mindset.
Oh no, I didn't make that one.
Didn't make that one. Okay.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
That's right. But, well, what I was going to mention was the last time that we were together, we had a whole different real estate market. Interest rates were in the low threes. there were multiple offers going on everywhere and so forth, and that's changed a little bit. How's the market shifted up in your neck of the woods in Minneapolis, St. Paul?
It's been whiplash, to be honest with you. The beginning of the year, it was definitely not that kind of market, right? It was seller buyers were getting closing cost covers, and like we were getting under list price. Recently, though, it is bonkers again. We have multiple offers on most homes. Things are, I think last week the average was like 100.6% of list price is what people were getting at the moment. We have a lot. Yeah, people are waiving inspections again. We had an agent on our team that lost out on 38 offers on a house.
What?
So
38?
we're back at it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad here.
There's a few homes that have had multiple offers that I've talked to with agents.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been 38.
No. I mean, there's
It's
houses
almost like
that
an
are
auction.
on the market. Yeah, I mean, I think our days on
Right.
the market right now is about 45, if I'm not mistaken.
In Collin County, yeah.
But that's crazy. Do you guys still have a huge shortage of inventory, or what?
Yeah, that's our big problem.
Yeah.
It's just, and we get the weather and stuff here. That's just, God knows what's going to happen tomorrow. We had a somewhat of a spring, and then we got a snowstorm that had 2.5 more feet of snow. So the listing process is a little different. Yeah. 2.5 feet in April.
Yeah, you're
So
Where do you
dumb.
put the sign?
Yeah, I've seen it. You should see her Instagram. She goes out there in her parka. She's bundled up about 6 layers. She's like, "Oh, it's a -5 today, eh?" So
Oh my gosh.
got to bundle up with the face coverings.
But that sign down in the permafrost, that's got to be hard to do, right?
Yeah, you got to.
There's like special drills.
Yeah, drill. That's what it is.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it just affects the listing process a lot, and you can't showcase a house very well when it's covered in snow, and people don't want to buy because they don't know what what the snow is covering.
Right. Inspections
And
are
I was
hard.
gonna say, how do you do an inspection in
Right.
something like that? The roof?
You don't see it.
Look for leaks.
Foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can do it.
Septic,
interior.
some
Well, of course,
areas.
you guys all have
Basements
basements,
up
there, right?
north, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do you still have oil-fired heating, or is it just out on the kind of the sticks? No.
Yeah, that not nowhere near the cities. Some places like kind of farther out from the suburbs, we have like septics and well, still, and that's a pain in the butt in the winter because you can't get it inspected or
Yeah.
anything. So it's just fun things that we deal with up here.
Isn't it wild? You think about how different the real estate market is in different parts of the country, and man, you get into some of the extremes.
Right.
And gosh, but it's crazy. You guys had record snowfall. New York City had minimal. We were up there, and they hadn't had a trace.
Right.
In
Yeah.
Philadelphia, I mean, some parts of the country, it just was really wonky this year. Really crazy. Amazing. Well, that's crazy. I'll tell you what else is crazy. You're not going to believe this, but we're about to run out of time here.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's of course when you have Hannah Smith as your guest, that's going to happen because time flies when you're having fun. Hannah, is there anything that you wanted to share with us? Did we miss any of the talking points you wanted to cover today at all, or is there any other super special magic advice that you could share with aspiring young real estate agents in our audience today?
Oh man. You know what? I would just say, I know a lot of people always ask me on Instagram and things like that. And I think it really is kind of what I said earlier, of just like, you have to take social media as a genuine connection with people and showcase yourself, right? Like, of course, real estate should be a huge part of that, but so many people are just posting graphics and this and just listed and just sold and, whatever. And home tours, which are all great for when they are great, but you really need to use social media to showcase yourself and truly like start making connections on there and be genuine. Too many people are using social media just thinking it's the next thing to get leads from. It's just not the same as other lead. It's just not a lead gen thing, right? It's truly about starting relationships. So you have to take social media and have that right mindset in order to use it properly and actually get leads and clients from it.
Yeah,
Wow, great
building and
advice.
cultivating relationships. I think that's the best way to go with the social. You know, you don't want to be a salesperson on social. Like that's the last person somebody goes to social media for.
Right. I mean,
you know?
people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And
yeah.
the more of your content they can consume before they meet you, even, the easier that's going to be for them to do business.
Yeah, it's like myself. I mean, I've followed Hannah for a while now, ever since we met up in Minnesota, and I feel like I've known her for years.
Yeah, you'd buy a house from Hannah.
Are you kidding me? Heck yeah.
So
to get to hang out with Honora. Honora is something special. I'm worried about you, Hannah. She's going to be trouble, I think, in the coming years when she hits the teens. If she's anything like you, you know.
The apple doesn't fall far.
She's way smarter than me.
Yeah. She is, yeah. She's got a good brain on her for sure.
Yeah.
She's a good one. But yeah, it's true. We're blessed with social media. We really are. We have an ability to get in front of people and showcase ourselves better than any other generation in real estate has ever gotten. Yeah. And I think you just have to take full advantage of it and just go wild, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's so nice to reconnect with you. And if somebody watching today wanted to reach out and talk to you, maybe ask you about a few more questions about, you know, social media or how to pick a brokerage or something like that, what's a great way to get a hold of you?
Well, you could message me on Instagram. I am the only one looking at my DMs. I don't have anyone managing it, so it is always me. So it's Hannah_the property geek. Otherwise, I'm contactable anyway. I mean, phone, email, anyway, it's fine. Hannah@thepropertygeeks.com is my email address. It's all pretty easy. It's all about the same. But yeah, I'm happy. I always love helping agents. So anyone that wants to.
That's awesome. Well, we would be excited to come back your way. You know, we were on a boat in Stillwater on the river there.
That was so much fun.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah. And we'll look forward to coming back up there and visiting with you guys again soon. But thanks for being on the show today. You always crush it, and just like you do in real estate, and appreciate your openness and willing to share and love on our audience. You're just amazing.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited I got to do this with you guys.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again soon.
Lots of fun. We sure will. All right. Well, that's going to be a wrap here today. And,
yes, sir.
Man, we've got some great things in the works, great plans. We've got an announcement coming at the end of May that's going to be huge.
Yes.
Fire. Look out. It's coming. But we'll be back next week. We're in town, so be sure to join us next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel right here for the next version of Cliff's Notes.
All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it!